Welcome to episode number
Welcome.
73 of About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube. As always, with me, my host, Stefan Loeffler, Original Wex Twins.
Oh, hi.
Ben Wilson at Our Trading Cards, and I'm Tim Shepler at Big Shep 79. We are podcast by collectors for collectors. Hoping to bring you a smart, insightful podcast discussing trading card collecting. We're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific.
10 Central, 11 Eastern.
On YouTube, Periscope, Facebook Live. You can always follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. We have a podcast version everywhere. Check out the website aboutthecards.wordpress.com. Find us on Flick Chat. Oh, hang out there. And a quick shout out. I saw somebody was in the chat, but to Shane, our buddy, good friend of the show and listener. An awesome follow on Twitter at Sportsmania Card. A little under the weather, so get well. I'm glad you could hang out with us tonight. And good to have you with us, and hope we'll have some fun. As you can see, we have a special guest tonight. It's Dub Mentality. Joey's with us tonight. What's up, Dub? How we doing?
Hey guys, good man. Glad to be here. I always appreciate you guys having me on.
Well, we love it, and I know it's late for you, but we appreciate you hanging out with us tonight and having some fun. So hopefully, talk a little about. So, Dub, give us a quick background for those that are living under a rock and they don't know who you are, because you're pretty famous. You're a freelance writer for Beckett Media. You also are a contributor for Dawn of the Dog, which is for I'm assuming the Georgia Bulldogs, right?
Yeah. It's a fan-sided. The website fan-sided. Mm-hmm. It's the Georgia Bulldog arm of that.
Roll Tide. Roll Tide.
And you also have an awesome blog, dubmentality.com, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
You had your most recent post was about 2019 Topps Holiday.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
I've been blogging now for about, I guess, going on 3.5 years. So mostly cards there, but I do talk about some other things, college football, family stuff, just various things. So I stay pretty busy now writing, and which is a good thing. And so I'm a little less frequent on the blog, but I do still get as much as I can on there because it's where I can write the way I want to write. I'm not under any guidelines or word limits or anything like that. So I'm able to kind of do my own thing there. So I still try to put stuff out there as much as I can. And Topps Holiday just came out. It's a set that I kind of enjoy opening with the kids. So I figured I'd pop a little post up there.
Yeah, and I also had, this year it had some of the most, I think, with those little short prints and variations they had with like that snowballs or the team logos as ornaments and stuff like that. Snow hats was a cool update.
Yes, it's really cool. I think it's pretty neat. I mean, the set is what it is. I mean, you're not buying it to compete with Tier 1 or anything like that. But it's a retail exclusive. You can pick it up cheap. And they're pretty fun. I've opened a few mega boxes. I opened one that had 3 variations in it: a rare, a super rare, and a mega super rare, whatever they're called. But they're always pretty cool. And I let the kids open them, and I let them look at the cards and tell me if they see something odd. Of course, you got the little code on the back you can always read. But I thought this year's set was pretty good. I've always been a border guy, so having that green border with the holly and things, that to me, I like that better than the typical snowflakes.
Yeah, I mean, outside of like Independence Day, it may be one of their best parallels they do, and in particular this year, it may be the best parallel they did this year.
Yeah. Well, the only snowflake we like on this show is Ben. So
boom, roasted me. I was going to say, since we're talking about Joey's, writing and everything on his Facebook page, just before I come on the show, he's on there with our friend Jason Longwith making out together over Sid Bream and the 1990 whatever World Series, and they're over there just like two little schoolgirls, all excited. Sid Bream this, Sid Bream that, and I'm like, at what century are we living in? That happened last century.
I mean, listen. Speaking of Ben, I got Ben sent me some cards last week. One of them was the yellow Topps Update yellow Josh Donaldson from Walgreens. And so I had a stack of Braves on my table, and before the show, I was just kind of sorting those and putting them in the boxes. And I started finding, as I'm sorting and putting them in alphabetical order, all these neat cards, and Bream and Cabrera are right there together. So I had to take a picture of those guys.
Well, and we're we're gonna put a block on a few words tonight that we cannot say. I'm gonna say them now, but the only time they're gonna be mentioned tonight.
Ron Gant.
Ron Gant and Ken Herbeck. Okay.
I never say the second one, anyways.
That's good.
I don't utter that one.
I mean, I was going to ask if his pile fell over.
I pushed it over and then, told my wife, no, it fell over on its own.
Having the two of you guys on talking about Herbeck and Gant and the Twins and Braves of the 90s is like a good old Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Royal Rumble.
I mean, aren't you a big Mark McGwire guy?
I am.
I mean, let's not act like you're in 2019. Come on.
Or 1995.
You're right. I'm still stuck between 85 and 87, so I'm not. That's what I love about you.
I
was like,
Hansford was good.
I'm like, on this show, I'm like a good C-. And I was like, we need to have a guest that's right there with me. Right. And the guys are like, all of our guys are like A+ and above, and I'm like, let's get Joey.
Hey, I kind of even out. I allow the curve to come in. You bring a D in, you got to start going on the curve.
Guys like us are the reason the curve was made.
Right.
Then you have a lot of curves, my friend.
Well,
you're dang right. Tim is intimately familiar with those.
Oh yes. So I want to get into it. You're a big Georgia football guy, and they've been pretty good in football. For a long while. I mean, there was some dark, not super dark periods, but not the best periods. But let's talk a little bit about just some of your favorite players from the past and present Bulldogs and some guys in the NFL that you keep your eyes on that on Sunday you're pulling for.
Yeah, there were some really lean years during the 90s when I was college age and going to games and stuff. But even though the years were lean, we had guys like Champ Bailey, who graduated the same year I did in high school. Hines Ward was there in the 90s. Those two guys are really my favorite 90s guys to collect. And Champ Bailey's probably, besides Herschel. Herschel's an automatic, but besides Herschel, Champ's probably my favorite Bulldog. Our high school team lost to him in the playoffs when he was a senior, and I got to see him play, and he was just unbelievable. But we got a lot of good guys in the pros right now that Roquan Smith with the Bears, and Stafford's 95 years old, but he's still playing broken back and all. But there's a lot of guys that have kind of moved to the pros in the last few years that I've collected pretty heavily with Smith and Javon Wims of the Bears, I have probably the most cards I have would be Stafford and AJ Green, just because of I guess they're the biggest stars since 2000. But I collect any and everybody from there. One of my favorite sets to open every year is the Leaf All-American set, because it's got, fortunately for Georgia, they've had several good recruiting seasons, and so they've got 5 or 6 guys in that All-American game every year. So I kind of get a grab on those. I've got 2 autographs from that set, Zamir White, a couple guys that are playing there now. But, Terrell Davis is obviously a Georgia favorite. He was rather unknown in college. He was not, I think his best year in college, he had 550 yards or so on the ground. But we like to call ourselves RBU because of Terrell and Garrison Hurst and Rodney Hampton, Herschel, Gurley, Chubb, Michelle. DeAndre Swift is there now. I got, he'll be another guy that gets to play on Sundays if he stays healthy. But we've churned out some running backs pretty heavily over the years, and so those are some of my guys that I kind of focus on. But if you give me a card with a Georgia Bulldog on it, I'll put it in a box. So
that's all. Yeah, and they probably have one of the most classic uniforms. One of my favorite teams to always play with, and when college NCAA football was out. And you'd go pick, and we always try to pick a team that wasn't the best. And this was God, when it first came out in the early 2000s, they were just kind of coming back a little bit when Mark Richt got there. And that was always a fun team to play with between the hedges. We talked about this offline, or online, I guess, but in DMs a couple months back. But with all of the quarterbacks that have come through there, so you had Jacob Eason, who was a high school prospect out of Washington that goes to Georgia, the #1 quarterback recruit. The following year, they get Fromm, and Eason gets hurt. Fromm takes over. He transfers back to Washington. Then they bring in, oh God, the guy's name just fell out of my head, Justin Fields, who's the number one quarterback, and doesn't get to play, and he ends up transferring to Ohio State. Out of those three guys, who do you think has the best potential in the NFL? And are you happy that Fromm's the one that stuck?
Well, I would have been happy with any of the three guys sticking, honestly. I do like Fromm a lot. He's local to me. He's from about an hour away from where I'm at. He played against our high school team here 4 years. So I got to see him. He's kind of a local legend. I like Fromm. Easton obviously he's probably got the best arm of all of them. He's got, he's 6'5". He was really good for Georgia, but he was a lot more like Stafford to me. He had the big arm. He'd throw it anywhere, but he turned it over a good bit when he was a freshman and part of his sophomore year. I like Eason, but I like Fromm's ability to. I'm not comparing him by any means, but his Drew Brees-like ability under center to change plays at the line and kind of see things that he's supposed to see. But I would have loved to see Justin Fields, get a couple years at Georgia, and that was the plan. Was he was going to come in and kind of redshirt, play a little bit his freshman year, and he even said at the beginning of the season, he says, "I'm not coming here to play right away," but that kind of changed during the year. I think he wanted to play a little more. I think it worked out best for everybody because I think Justin Fields is much more potent in that Ohio State offense than he would be at Georgia. That's just not our style. We're not a 4-receiver set, run and gun type of team. And so I think he's flourishing there. And I think we're more, our MO for years has been to just try to wear you down all game, just pound it at you, and then just win in the second half. And Fromm fits that perfectly. He can throw. He's one of the best passers Georgia's had when you look at the numbers from a completion percentage, touchdown versus interceptions. He's lost 3 games in his career. He's done nothing to say that he was not the right choice. I think the way it worked out was, I think Kirby Smart did everything he could do. Easton got hurt. Fromm came in. Fromm didn't lose a game. He would have come out, I'm sure, if he'd lost a game eventually, but he didn't lose the game until right before the end of the season, and took us to a national championship as a freshman. So I think, it worked out for Fromm. I think Easton's better in that Washington offense, and we're seeing clearly that Fields is kind of made for that Ohio State offense. You saw Haskins, Cardell Jones, those guys run that offense that, Fields is a running passer. And I think everybody kind of worked out the way they're supposed to. But I would have loved to have seen, I don't know what Fromm's going to do at the end of this year, if he's going to go pro, stay. I would have loved to have seen a year or two of Fields, but it's one of those things when you sign 3 5-stars, somebody's not going to be happy.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm happy with Fromm. There are some guys, obviously, that wanted Fields. There's guys that wanted East, and you have within the fan base, all these different people that want different things. You see Tua at Alabama. That's changed Alabama from what we were trying to be, the run team, and now they're just spread offense. You see what LSU's doing with Joe Burrow. That's just not us. And I'd like it to be eventually. But
and Burrow left Ohio State because Fields went there.
Right.
Or the Haskins thing, yeah, and then Fields and he ends up getting to play. You have 3 games left. Auburn looks like the biggest one. You're ranked 4th in the playoffs. You think you guys have a good shot at the national title?
War Eagle.
I am very concerned about Auburn. We circle them every year. It's Florida and Auburn that are constants. We do have some other teams from the West that we play occasionally, but we play an all-East schedule, and then we play 2 teams from the West every year. And Auburn is one of those teams every year. And then we rotate Alabama, LSU. This year it's Texas A&M. But Auburn, the way they kind of match up with us is their defensive line is for real. Derek Brown is a future first-round pick, defensive tackle. Their front 7 is really good. And obviously our strength is running. So we're going to have to pass more this game. And not that we can't, but you also need your offensive line to protect, which we did against Florida. But we lost 3 offensive linemen last week during the game against Missouri. 2 of them came back. 1 of them was out. We lost our center. The backup center, who was actually the starting right guard, came in to play backup center. He got hurt. So we were on our 3rd center. And then our starting right tackle got hurt in the 4th quarter. Our starting wide receiver, Lawrence Gager, got hurt in the second half. So, I mean, we really got banged up. And Auburn had a bye this week. So Auburn's coming in off of 2 weeks of kind of getting healthy. Gus Malzahn, I saw some stats. Gus Malzahn's like 7-0 coming off of a bye in the last 2-3 years. So, I mean, it's going to be tough. Playing at Auburn is really tough. It's one of the toughest places to play. I think if you told me LSU and Auburn would, that's probably the 2 toughest places to play. So, I think we're a 2.5 point favorite right now, but it's the tough one. If we win this one, obviously we go to the SEC championship and we would be looking at probably LSU there.
Yeah.
So, it's a tough road for us. We've already lost a game, and that's tough. We could win out and get into the playoffs, but that means we've got to beat Auburn, Texas A&M, and LSU 3 of the next 4 games. So that's going to be tough. Unfortunately for Georgia fans, anything less than going to the playoffs is a disappointment because we were there 2 years ago, and everybody thinks we should be there every year. Yeah. I'm a little bit more realistic. I have not seen this team so far just blow me away. They did in 2017 when Chubb and Michelle were there and Fromm was a freshman. There were a couple games that was like we could beat anybody who is stepping on the field that day. But I've not seen that this year. We've won some close games. We beat Florida. We beat Notre Dame, had to hold them at the end. So, but we have not dominated anybody in my mind. So it's going to be a fun game. But Auburn probably I think we match up better with LSU than we do Auburn because our pass defense is 1 or 2 in the country. But this is a tough one, and I'm thinking about it every day.
Yeah, as being an outsider, these are the games I love to watch. Seeing 2 great teams go up, and then you get to see all the future NFL talent. Well, let's hop into it. The week that was last week's releases, we had Topps Living Week 87, card 257, Sean Doolittle of the Washington Nationals, and card 258, Michael Kopech, rookie pitcher of the Chicago White Sox. No numbers were updated, but you can always check out at Topps Living Stat for a full breakdown of where these cards fall, respectively, in the set and by position and by team. Stuff showing them there. And so we said the Doolittle is probably one of the best looking cards. I'll be interested to see where that went. Kopech, kind of interesting picture selection. We also had 2019 Top Stranger Things. Welcome to the Upside Down. 1920 NBA Hoops drop. 2019 Topps Dynasty Baseball. 2019 Panini Prizm Draft Picks Collegiate Baseball. 1920 Upper Deck Series 1. And 1819 Panini Flawless Basketball. As we hop into the presses, hot off the presses, this week's new release, Topps Living Week 88. Card 259, Thurman Munson, catcher of the New York Yankees. And card 260, John Duplantier, rookie pitcher of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And it doesn't look like he's wearing his glasses there. It does have the frames, but it's very interesting. Yeah, I guess so.
The George Costanza.
Yeah. The Munson looks pretty cool. And I'm glad that, they did the card of Munson. It's like the umpteenth Yankee they've done, though. And I know Ben's all over it because he loves the old guys. But that stash just says 70s New York. Right?
Should probably shave it, though.
Yeah, it's a great card. And, yeah, the Yankees, of course, are going to be overrepresented in this set. But I'm glad Munson got one.
It's a good-looking card. Also, 2019 Topps High Tech Baseball comes out this week. $127 a box. 3 packs per box, 6 cards per pack. You're going to get 3 autos, 3 blue parallels, and 3 white parallels. It's a 112-card base set. So back in the day, the last few years, you've had to have some kind of a secret code to decipher all of the designs and the patterns and all this. So the last couple of years, it's been this has been released as a large single pack box, but now it's just the 3 packs. And according to Topps this year, High Tech has 3 base designs, each with their own patterns and parallels. Brian Cracknell's going to be the man to follow on this because he's doing tons of research to make sure we can understand what is going on with high tech. There was also tech buyback autographs numbered out of 10, and these are players from the original Topps Tech card set they bought back and had autographed. There are no base rookie cards of some very collected players, currently rookies. Vladimir Jr., Pete Alonso, Tatis Jr., and Eloy Jimenez do not have rookie base cards. They do have autographs in some of the subsets there, but they won't have any base rookie cards. It looked like a lot of the rookie cards were guys that were rookies in Series 1, like Cedric Mullins, Christian Stewart, Kopech was one, Justice Sheffield, Kikuchi, Rowdy Tellez, Danny Jansen. So a lot of the guys we saw early in the season, all these guys have come back with Tiki Toussaint, have rookie cards in there. So but none of the guys
that might be the one good might be the one leading rookie card of the set.
Urias. Yeah, Urias of the Padres.
Yep.
I looked through that, and the rookie cards were a little lackluster if you're looking for a base rookie card. But the autograph sets were there with those guys. Ben, what's your feeling on tech? Trying to run down all these Oakland A's and parallels and.
I've loved tech in the past, but I hadn't really been up to speed on this particular release. And I asked Ryan, and I think Steph jumped in. You know, the easiest thing in years past would have been to label the difference between parallels, because it's so frustrating as a collector when you go to a place like, say, Sport Lots, where, you know, a seller is just blindly listing it as this or that, or if pictures aren't as clear on eBay, it's tough to tell the difference between some of these parallels. So Ryan said it's not as necessary this year, and now that I've seen a couple of the designs, it's probably not as necessary. But in years past, it's been just a unmitigated disaster trying to decipher. You know, sure, circle is different than lightning, but lightning versus lines, and some of the names of these parallels have just been stupid. And so really would have been easy for them to be labeled a little bit better in years past. And I think that's really the frustrating part. I like the acetate look, so for me, high tech's always been kind of a personal favorite.
No, you know, I like some of the fun designs that they have. What's up here?
Yeah, the designs are nice, and the acetate is definitely a nice touch. But I wish they would go back to clearly. About to sneeze, sorry.
Thanks for not sneezing in the mic and yelling, Angela.
Indeed. But hey, Angela, can you grab me a tissue? No. No. But I wish they would bring back the clear marking of, hey, this is pattern 1, pattern 94, 63, whatnot. Because then you wouldn't have the issue that Ben has, where if someone doesn't have the proper scanner technology, you're not getting a clear shot of, hey, this is diamond, or this is thunder, or this is lines.
It's just like Bowman Chrome and refractors or anything. You know, now Heritage has gotten so much better listing action parallels or throwback parallels. Just listed on the card. You know, I mean, yeah, Topps has done a much better job in recent years of,
especially in Heritage,
of identifying the codes at the bottom of the cards. But for people that have eyes that are starting to go as we get older in life, it's nice to flip it over and you can see that it says action on it. It for the casual collector that might come across open one of these, especially if a product is released in retail via blasters, you might not have access to knowing the difference in codes. So if it clearly states, hey, this is a refractor, this is an action parallel, this is the lightning parallel, it's not like, you know, Panini Prizm where the front is drastically different. We can all tell the difference between blue and red and neon circles and snakeskin.
Well, most people, unless they're colorblind.
Well, then you got another problem.
Yeah. No, anyway, it just I think you shouldn't have to have some special code to decipher what it is.
Right. And I mean, you shouldn't need a micro scope. Thank you. Microscope to be able to see it.
Taking the microwave.
That Texas education is really showing off.
Actually, it's probably the Alabama.
Oh.
Yeah, I get real quick on this thought though. I get that it's fun for us as collectors to chase certain parallels and to look through it. just like Dub was saying earlier, having the kids open it and saying, hey, can you find me something different in the holiday? Even if they're clearly marked, you're still going to have to turn the cards over and look. You're still going to have that feeling of a chase. It's just not going to be nearly as frustrating, challenging.
Here's my thought on that is I think personally the sets that should have those chases in them are sets that may not be as I mean, Tech is like, it's acetate, it's these clear cards, it's these fun designs. You don't have to add in this extra element of having these short print variations. The set kind of stands on its own to me.
Yeah,
There's some sets that have to be propped up a little bit with the variations and things like that. And I think, for me, Tech has always been a set that I'm fine with just, what they have, but
sure,
that, that's me.
I like a good looking card.
We've talked about that in the past. Does every release need umpteen parallels?
Obviously.
Does every of them need short prints and super short prints? Can't you just release something that has what it is?
It's like it's like a beautiful car, right? This car rolls off the production line, and it's a gorgeous car. So say like a '69 Mustang or '69 Camaro rolls off, and it looks perfect. And then you go out
back.
Then what you do is you roll out, and then you put on these gaudy gold rims on it, and you start trimming it out, and you change the beauty of the product. And that's really kind of what I believe these does to Tech, and it makes it to me like, a pass, because they've done stuff to it. It's like, well, I don't want to sit here and have a list of things and go through and try to figure this out. Like, just I want to collect the cards I like because they look good. It's not flagship. Where you those parallels or those short prints or the super short prints kind of add that extra element to it. This one doesn't need it. I think they're trying too hard.
So you mean you don't want the body kit and the 3 foot tall spoiler on your 2003 Dodge Neon?
No. So, yeah. We also have 2019-20 or 2019-2020 Panini Certified Basketball coming out today. $190 a box, 10 packs per box, 5 cards per pack. You're going to get 1 freshman fabric signature, 1 additional autograph, 10 parallels, 8 additional inserts. It's a 200 card base set. The checklist is out there. Pillar of the set is the freshman fabric signature cards. That's what everybody's looking for. What this set's really known for. Rookie roll call is the rookie cards with ink, and they're on card. They also have parallels with multiple players, which is really nice. And they also have a few Legends auto sets as well. You saw the net there. You see Julius Erving. You see David Robinson, which is pretty cool. So a new, certified would be awesome to collect, right?
Might see
like
this
certified. They have not
later.
changed their design in 2 years, 3 years, but I like certified. So I mean, for me, it's a fun product to open.
Yeah,
I
just like the certified logo. It looks nice. It's clean.
That has
Hard for
not
me not to
changed in like
say-
2 decades.
It's hard for me not to say Leaf certified because that's what I
Mhm.
did when it first came out.
Right.
So this is going to be the second release where you're going to have this rookie class in their uniforms. Last week we had hoops, which I got a box or two, I sold them, but I opened some blasters. And if you collected in the early 90s, this year's hoops really quick reminded me of opening 91, 92 hoops, which they have a tribute set, a subset in there of that. But that's what it reminded me of, was classic early 90s basketball cards, which is I was all over those as a kid, even though the Sacramento Kings stunk and Lionel Simmons was my guy. They were fun. It was fun as a fun open. So if you're one a little basketball and you want to spend $20, and it also didn't hurt that I pulled like 4 Zions, so 2 base and 2 of those tribute cards out of 2 blasters. I was doing pretty good. So let's see. We also have 2019-20 Panini Flawless Collegiate Basketball coming out today. $2,000 a box, 1 pack per box, 10 cards per pack, 6 autos, 2 min cards, 2 gemstones. It features the 2019 rookies, former All-Americans, and some legends. Each autograph is on card, and they're numbered to 25 or less. RPAs include, so the RPAs are really the chase cards in here, and you're going to have team logos, swatches, conference logos, brand, and Final Four patches on those cards, and all of those RPAs have on-card autos as well. I just looked. Cracknell's usually really good by having checklist up. This one's not there yet. So I went to Panini, and I selected basketball 2019, Panini, Collegiate, Flawless Collegiate, and there's a checklist. It's for football, even though I selected basketball. So,
but they did have a checklist.
They did have a checklist there. It
doesn't
just
matter which the right one.
It had Troy Aikman on there and Dean Cain and I don't know, some other.
Sometimes you need to be more specific. We've been asking Panini for checklists. They're putting them up. Years ago, when my aunt was young, she went to a busy parking lot and she's like, "Dear Lord, Heavenly Father, please let me find a parking spot with a tree." Sure enough, she pulls into this busy parking lot and she finds a tree. It was a brand new one, fresh, little stick of a tree, but the parking spot was there with a tree. God answered her prayer. So sometimes be careful what you ask for. We're asking Panini for checklists. They have one up there. Doesn't matter if it's the wrong sport. There's one available.
Yeah,
it's just a $2,000 gamble, guys.
Hey, no worries.
It is.
And I see that. I don't know if Tim's still with us. He's a good listener. Met him, super nice guy.
I'm confused. It's not even all basketball or football. So you got AJ Brown, Aaron Rodgers, but then you have Bol, Brandon Clark.
So it does have some of the people,
Cam Reddish,
in there. So it's like a dual sport. Maybe it's their Black Friday.
This is the multi-sport Flawless.
Right.
Yeah. Tim called me out. He said, "Hey, are you mad because you need those checklists for your blog?" And I said, "I could care less. I haven't put checklists on the blog in a little while. Life's been busy, but it's like you said, a $2,000 gamble. We understand that there are going to be Zion cards in there. We understand there's going to be RJ Barrett cards, but what are the legends, right? Who are the All-Americans that are they going to have in there? Are they going to have Danny Manning in a KU uniform for me? Because if so, I'm going to want to try to get the Clippers in a break so I can get a Danny Manning card." Our buddy Kevin Porter, his son Kevin Porter Jr. is in the set, so that's cool.
Not related to your cuddle buddy. I've already asked him.
No, it is. It's his son. We talked about this. But no,
breaking it lives off of checklists.
Yeah, and that's what this is made for. I mean, I talked to Doug from Mojo Brick, and it was like, when this Flawless was made, they didn't really. Dan and Doug did not really think it was going to go anywhere. One, because of the price point of where it was at. They did not know how collectors were going to react to something like this. But the fact is, it's taken off, and collectors are out there that want to get it. But what average collector is going to want to go drop $4,000 on a case? And especially when there was a Flawless release last week, and I think there's one next week, or in 2 weeks, and it's like, I don't get it. Tim says he likes the surprise. Well, awesome. Enjoy the surprise. But again, this is not a flagship where it's more of a every man's product. And so not everybody's just going out to buy a case or buy a box to buy a box. It's a breaker product.
If we go back to 1988, where you had, if we just stay with baseball for a moment, you have, Topps and Donruss and Fleer, and then Score comes in, right? You have 4 major releases. And they're not divided up by series. I mean, sure, they may have had different, like, opening day. I think by 1990, Donruss had opening day in different parallel sets. But, even by 1990, when you start throwing in Upper Deck and Bowman, there wasn't much to collect. If Topps is coming out, we're all collecting it. Donruss is coming out, we're all collecting it. It really came down to one release. It didn't matter what the checklist was, and the fact that the checklist was inside the box,
but you knew the base guys were going to be in the stars were going to be in those packs. 792
cards divided by 26 teams at the time. We knew that every team was going to have 28 to 30 players represented.
And Tim asked me in the chat if I buy into breaks. I do buy into breaks. I buy the Royals or the Giants, and when it's a product that I'm not going to find in a as far as like a team set, it's more of a hit base. So I'm going to buy into those.
which is most of the Panini products. You don't find Panini products in team sets. So as a team collector like myself, it's extremely important to have a checklist to know at what price point should I be buying into a break at. Because if it's a $12 to $20 buy-in, then it's basically a team set, and I hope that I get a hit. But if it's a $60 buy-in, then I know that I'm going to need to get a couple of hits to warrant that price. Otherwise,
that's how breakers price it for the teams, and that's how they decide how much they're going to buy.
Well,
because they know they'll be able to make their money back on certain teams.
It just frustrates me because it's like, guys, you're making the product. You don't know what's in it. You don't have an internal checklist, and you could release a checklist saying this is the tentative checklist. There could be changes.
A whole list of grievances with Panini and checklist, but this is
what if Panini sold those checklists 10 days early to breakers? You know, what if you did something like that where, hey,
don't give them any ideas, dude.
Well, at least they would be available, and these breakers could theoretically price their products accurately, since most products nowadays are made for breakers.
I'm not sitting here and I'm not feeling bad for the breakers. Trust me, I'm not.
I'm with you. But if you sell them to the breakers, how do I know I want to buy my team?
Yeah.
Especially and that's
players in it, or got 6.
That's what it comes down to. I mean, we need access to these checklists a couple of days before. We're not asking for them a month before. 3 or 4 days.
Well, this came out today and it's still not there.
If the product comes out Friday, why can't we have it by Monday? That's all. I get paid on Friday. I need to know, am I putting aside X amount of dollars for this particular product or not? That's all.
Yeah. And I think we're going to differ there. I mean, so a cool product. Go ahead. It's a cool product that's coming out that I'm excited about. I don't know if I'm going to get into it, but it was cool to see. 2019-20 Topps NHL Sticker Collection. That's right, I said Topps. It's $40 a box, 50 packs per box, 5 cards per pack. You're also getting 1 foil card per pack. It's a 629 card base set. Every team in the NHL is represented, and there's also a 75-page album to go with it. Collectors don't need to think about chase elements or parallels, so it's just straight stickers. Topps actually received a license this year, and so this year Panini will not be making the stickers. In addition to the regular player stickers, there are several subsets like rookie debuts, Stanley Cup playoffs, NHL awards, and All-Star stickers. Vintage hockey team things like we're back with the retro logos. So we're going to have some old school logos in there. And there's also the puzzle stickers that fit together to form a large image. And I think Steph showed there the Stanley Cup champion, St. Louis Blues. It's a 6-sticker puzzle that goes together, and you get the whole team picture on the ice. I think they're sweet looking.
So in addition to the main set that's meant for stores, there's a separate online exclusive Topps Now NHL sticker set that will highlight key events throughout the season as they happen.
Look at that.
Because, of course, there will be.
Yeah. Because we need more on-demand product. We're going to talk about that later. But no, this is pretty awesome.
The design looks nice, and they'll probably have a deal much like they do in other sports, or that like Panini has, where if you buy 2 packs or a blaster box, you'll get a free team sticker magazine. That way you have the sticker book to theoretically stick your stickers into.
Yeah, I love this. I mean, I think stickers and kids go well together. I remember putting the old sticker books back together in the mid-'80s.
I think licking those stickers is why you can't launch a stream without having to fumble with it 3 times.
That and yeah. Thanks. We also have 2019 Panini Immaculate football dropping Friday, $40 a box. We all wish $400 a box, 1 pack per box, 6 cards per pack, 5 auto indoor mem cards, 1 base indoor parallel. It's a 140 card base set. All of the base cards are numbered out of 99. First 100 are vets. The last 40 are all RPAs, rookie patch autographs. It's a very high-end release. There's on-card inserts that include Immaculate number rookie patch autographs, draft class signatures, marks of greatness, and Pro Bowl signatures. The eye black ones that you show there, those are pretty awesome. But new for this year are the triple eye blacks. So that had 3. So it's Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, and Adrian Peterson. Some good tailbacks right there. And there's also jumbo relics with laundry tags and NFL shields included in them. The mem that they use is from a lot of gear, from helmets to gloves and cleats in here. So you're going to get you can put a whole uniform together, one guy, through this set. Pretty sharp. So I'm excited. We talked. Panini had like a flawless last week. They have a flawless this week. They have an immaculate this week. Next week we're going to talk more about what's coming out. There's just a lot of higher end products from them. These first couple weeks here in November, I think it's kind of crazy. So, what's brewing next week's releases? 2019 Panini Flawless Baseball supposedly is coming out. We covered this 2 weeks ago in episode 71, and then 2019 Panini Playoff Football will also drop. We're gonna hop into our infield chatter section of the show. We all talk about the hobby talk. So, did you see this? I'm excited. At Kentucky Cards, Jimmy, our boy, Jimmy Meehan, he's super, like a rock star now. The dude's super famous. His 2019-20 Prizm draft picks, one of one Zion and RJ sold for just over $15,200. It's all going to charity. It's that children's home in North Carolina he worked at. And he was also on local TV this week. And the guy was like enamored with a Doc Gooden autograph. And so he just gave it to the guy, to the reporter. And after speaking with Jimmy, it was one of my favorite interviews. He was so excited. He was on the entire time. It was awesome. But it's great to see that. And, really what it shows, there's a lot of good stuff in this hobby, because he could have just pocketed all this and, been on his way. But it's good he's giving it back to something he cares about. And it's just really great to see this kind of stuff happen with the hobby.
I've got an addendum before we hop into the next one.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I had a fellow coworker come into Dallas this week, and not necessarily just to visit us, but as you can imagine, he stopped in at Beckett to get a card graded. Probably the other top card in that set. The other one of, I think, 3 or 4 one of ones in the base set. To get this graded. It didn't get near the grade, but it's the
black
amazing.
Zion on card auto or sticker auto, 1 of 1.
Yes, it is graded 9, 10 auto. He said it was something. He talked to the guys and something to do with the factory rollout as far as the back. He couldn't see anything. I can't see anything, but that's their grading. So.
Yeah, it's still pretty awesome card, and there's a great video that goes along with it.
Yes,
where
he lost it.
Yeah, where you get to watch him and he sees the card. So,
but no, it couldn't happen to 2 nicer guys. I don't know what he's planning to do with it.
Somebody asked me, why would you grade of 1 of 1? He's like to hold the condition, and then when he sells it to let the person buying know that what the condition the card is in. So.
Pretty much.
Real quick, Tim just posted this. Carmen Jimmy pulled a $14,700 card of Lucas Saturday out of Flawless NBA. So, yeah. After he pulled that Zion, he went on he's been on a little bit of a roll lately.
Need him to come pick some Diamond Kings boxes for me.
Right?
Hey.
Your Diamond Kings. The house that built Diamond Kings.
Indeed.
We talked about this a little last week. The 2019 582 Montgomery Club factory set came out, and which was pretty neat. But the 2020 Montgomery Club is coming up. The renewals are out right now. So they're only to the current members, they get to renew first, and it's a limited number. This is from our buddy Mike Summer at the Mike Summer. It looks like the 2020 Topps 582 Montgomery Club opens for current members to renew this Wednesday. And then for new members shortly afterwards. Here's a list of what the benefits are. With a gift with the membership is a 20-card set plus an autograph, 2 additional 20-card sets, a 20 sticker card set, a 20-card card members vote MLB set plus an auto, a $2 582 Montgomery stamped complete 2000 2020 top set.
Which is the one that we mentioned, I think, last week, was it?
Yes. Yep.
For this year.
Yeah, for this year. Which is selling for about $200. I think that was the cost of this membership for the whole year. An exclusive access to purchase 2019 Topps Brooklyn collection featuring an all-new configuration on Topps.com. A collectible pin. That doesn't wow me. But exclusive access to pre-sale window for select Topps 2020 online exclusives, such as Sapphire, Enter X, and Archives Snapshot. This was a pretty, for those folks that hopped in and took advantage of the 2019 version of this, I think they all did really well and were very happy with the return of their $200. So it'll be interesting to see how many spots actually are freed up and any new folks that can get in there. So
I literally, and I'll be that guy, but I literally, before Mike tweeted that, had never heard of the Montgomery set. I was not familiar with that. I checked it out once he tweeted, but I had never heard of it.
Yeah, it wasn't really well documented. I think we covered it slightly when it first launched. Yeah, and we kind of let go of it because it wasn't anything. Nothing was coming out was super exciting from the sets. But I think that factory set is what kind of set everybody on tilt a little bit. One is because of the rookie cards; they're in Series 2, and who you could pick up. So, it just adds to that additional. Oh, I have that stamped version now. Now the All-Star complete set stamped version and so on and so forth. So Topps is totally about Ty France. Topps total. So all of the announced, and this is all this. I'm stealing Ben's words here. All of the announced doubles in Topps total were changed, except for Ty France. He's the only guy that got 2 cards in the 900 card set. He has a rookie card logo and one without the rookie card. And so, out of 900 cards, Ty France of the San Diego Padres, if you didn't know who he played for, is the only one with 2 cards.
And just so that we give credit to where it's due, that was actually our friend over at Topps Living Stat that shared that information. That's actually his screenshot. There was a couple of A's players that I noticed that were on the checklist, like Brett Anderson, that were both in waves 8 and 9. And he was the one to point out that most likely when the final checklist comes out before it goes to print, that duplicate will be changed. And then upon knowing the final results, he was accurate. They were all changed with the exception of our friend Ty France, who I never heard of either. So yeah, he ended up being the only one of the 900 cards. So there's only 899 players represented in the set. So I wonder if that was intentional or if Topps didn't know who it was either and overlooked the second one.
I wonder if he's related to the France family for the NASCARs. So
I can see why he'd be easy to skip over.
Yeah. I mean, no offense to the guy. I'm sure he's a very nice boy. His parents like him very much. But it's just the quality control. If you're going to make a 900 card set, I don't have the figures in front of me, but I can definitely pull them out of a DM. Topps Living Stat also sent me some particulars on teams. Not every team was built correctly. You figure 900 cards divided by 30. It's a 30 by 30 set. Not every team had 30 cards, apparently.
It might be for next week. If you put that together, that'd be great.
Interesting.
Topps is having an industry conference coming up in February. So, there's the industry conference, right? Or industry summit, and only really Panini and Beckett go to, and I think Leaf was there. And then Upper Deck has their own deal, and Topps has their own deal. And this is down in Chandler, Arizona at the Wild Horse Pass Hotel and Casino.
Try not to get kicked out, Tim.
Yes, Sunday, February 23rd through the 25th. You're going to go down and learn about best practices, expand your industry knowledge, and grow your current successes. Conference speakers will include sports and entertainment industry experts across MLB, WWE, Star Wars, and soccer properties. They're going to have guest speakers to teach us sustainable growth, special appearances, offsite activities, and a Q&A with Topps executives. The early bird special, if you buy before December 6th, is $250. Afterwards, up until January 10th, it looks to be $300. Registration is limited to first come, first serve. So if you go to the Topps.com website, it should be there. This is probably also when they're going to have their Transcendent Party with Ken Griffey Jr., because that's usually when they do that, because a lot of them, that's what they did last year with Trout. They usually have them coinciding together. So you have a deal too with some rooms. You mentioned earlier about the Topps party. So if you have a shop or you're selling online or breaker, it's probably a good idea to get out there and hobnob and get around those industry folks. As we're coming up, it's November, right? And what's big in November? The biggest day in November. Besides watching Ohio State lose to Michigan this year, what's going to be the best day this November?
When the Gophers beat Penn State.
Oh, let's hope so.
No, we did.
Let's hope so. Oh, you did? But are you going to beat Ohio State?
We don't play Ohio State.
Yeah, you will.
Wisconsin and Iowa.
Yeah, but if you win out, you're going to have to play them in the Big Ten.
Assuming they don't lose the next 3 weeks.
That's true. But Panini's Black Friday. So Panini's continuing their tradition of Black Friday. It's one of the biggest hobby shop promotion days of the year. And they're going to offer exclusive packs for a few sets. So this year it's split in two. Normally it's a multi-one. They're going to have one for football, and then they're going to have a secondary one that covers basketball, baseball, NASCAR, and soccer. Each set's going to have 40 base cards with rookies and Panini collection inserts. Card shops are going to be able to distribute the Black Friday packs however they see fit, and it's usually tied to a purchase of a specific product or box. You're going to get, if you buy this box, you're going to get 2 packs. Maybe to help push some product that don't normally get the love that they deserve. A lot of shops also have a larger store promotion going on, and each Black Friday pack will have 2 cards in a pack. So
interesting.
Yeah. So if you want to go out on Black Friday and shop, I'm not a Black Friday person, just based on my retail history. It cost a lot of Thanksgivings and in times of family missed. So the only shopping I really ever do is going to be online, which is fine with me. And go pick it up or have it delivered later. By the way, if you buy TVs and computers that day and you're sleeping overnight, those are usually the ones that break really quick. Just a little PSA.
Usually.
They don't last.
Buy this Toshiba.
Yeah, buy this Hisense that we've never carried this brand ever, and we'll never carry it again until next Black Friday. It has one HDMI input that's a little loose. So I thought this was interesting, and I think this is interesting for because we're having Dub on tonight that this question popped up. So I went through, and there are a few folks on Twitter where I stole some questions they posted out to the general public, and we stole the questions, but
misappropriated
some questions, and I first of all like the Twitter handle at I bop your nose 89. So I guess there are a lot of other bop your noses out there. I boop your nose 89. Ryan tweeted out, "Is it just me, or does it feel kind of dirty when people purchase hangers and blasters and sell them for more than what the store has them?" I understand shipping, but to see people selling $19.99 or $20 boxes for $35 to $50 rubs me wrong. I know I see Dub opening up retail a lot, which are some of my favorite breaks. I love hanging out and just watching open, and it gets me inspired to, hey, if I see something like that to open, and I'll open occasionally. I opened a few blasters this last weekend. And I've sold blasters. I bought stuff for $20 and sold it for more. What are your thoughts on this?
It's one of those things where it's obviously a free market type situation. If there's somebody out there that'll buy it, and you can make some money off it, I mean, I can't fault you for it. I'm not going to buy it. If I can't find, Topps Chrome Update Mega Box at Target for $20, then I'm not going to have it. That's just me. I'm not going to buy Prizm basketball for $40. I go to my Target, I go to my Walmart, I look for stuff. If it's there, I'll get it. But I'm not going to pay those prices for it. But there are people out there who do. And I can't fault anybody for making money in the hobby if that's what they want to do. And if there is a market out there that will buy those things, I'm not that guy. But, I don't, it's not something that I lose sleep over. I'm not, but like I said, it's one of those things that I'm pretty set, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to buy that product for $30 or $40.
But what about
it's still a retail product in the end.
What about the flip side of buying it and selling it? So say you came across, some of those Chrome update boxes, and they were there, and you bought two, and you're like, hey, I did pretty well. Maybe I'll sell these other two, and you could get 40 or 50. You could double your money. Is that something you would go and do, or do you feel dirty to doing it?
I mean, I don't feel dirty, but I don't typically do that. I'm not. I sell some single cards from time to time, but I'm not a big seller.
Yeah.
Period. That's just not one of the things I do a lot. I'll put a card or two up on eBay every now and then, or I'll run through a little sales thread on my Twitter handle and sell 10 or 15 cards. But for me, I mean, and what I do in the hobby, I'm not. Shipping is a hassle for me. It's just one of those things that it's not worth it for me to make $10 off of a box that I buy.
And it's hard to do, right, Ben? We talked about this before, right? When you buy a $20 box, and here it costs almost $22 with tax where Ben and I live. It's like $21.58 or something like that. So
if you're selling one of these for $35, you're at a break-even point. Because it's not $20. It's $22 plus shipping's what, Tim? What would you say on a?
See, if you do the flat rate bubble mailer, if you have those because you have to order them, about $7.50. I think it's $7.50.
Right, so we're at $30 California money, right?
PayPal.
And then PayPal fee and eBay fees put you what, $33, $34?
Yeah, you're gonna make $1. Now,
I have sold boxes before. Like, I've had people who have seen me post at a box that I see at Target, and they're like, I can't find it anywhere. I'll pick that box up and ship it to them, and they pay me cost. I've done that. But I don't buy them ahead of time and say, okay, maybe I can sell 3 or 4 of these. And that's just, I mean, to each their own. I'm not going to rail on it, but I don't do it either. So
and I think that's kind of where I stand. The purchasing of a single box for a friend when they can't find it, novel, it gets them what they want, and you help out a buddy. Great, love it. I think what I take most issue is when you have a hobby shop or a dealer walk in and buy out the entire shelf.
I will say I do have an issue.
I mean, free enterprise and all, but
with those being at hobby shops, if a local hobby shop goes and buys up everything at Target and then tries to sell them for $40, that's me again. That's my opinion. I
got blocked by that dude Mike Sports Cards or whatever out of Denver. I think he's somewhere in Colorado, and I guess he's a nice guy. But I called him on the map because he posted his wall, and he had all of these $20 boxes, and he said he got it from a distributor. Maybe he did.
You can't. And I have a backstory on that too for you.
It's bad optics when you're posting a picture of your shop. If I randomly go in there, it's like now I'm promoting it, and it just makes it look bad. It doesn't matter if you bought at a distributor that's going out of business. When you buy something like that and stick it at your LCS as a shop owner, the way it looks when you post a picture of that, and that's why I called him out on it, was it makes it look like you went to your Target and Walmart and swiped your credit card and just basically shoveled all your stuff into the cart, right?
So a lot of those, Greg here that owns the shop, he had some blasters. I'm like, dude, why do you have all these blasters? And part of the reason is that he wanted to buy some additional Panini products, some high-end stuff. And the distributor said, well, I have these 2 cases of retail blasters I need you to take. So I'll give you that higher-end product. And I'm going to sell it to you at cost, which is like $13 or whatever, and then he puts them out for sale for the $20, the same you can get at the local store, but it's because they had to push it. I can tell you, it wasn't blasters, but Panini Prizm basketball from last year. Those retail one boxes that had the red, white, and blue parallels.
Yeah.
Distributors out here shoving those down the throats of card shops and breakers because Mojo ended up with some. My card shop teammates went through 200 boxes so far of that product because the distributors got the product, couldn't move it to the retailers because the SKU had expired.
But
So they had to go.
Greg, the owner of our local card shop's not posting pictures of his wall full of those like the guy Mike did in Colorado. And
but he's saying, hey, I have a bigger selection if you want to be able to buy an inexpensive box.
But see, the thing is when you're sending out a blanket picture with no explanation of how you acquired them, it looks really bad for the people like the guy that wants to boop our nose.
No, but it would be different if he was selling them for $30 a box and not $20.
That's where I make the distinction personally. I know Tim in the chat said, if you're buying those products, like you said, Tim, to meet some quotas to get other products, and you pop them up on your shelf for what you can buy them for at Target, $20. But I have been in shops that have a Contenders football box, blaster box, for $40, and there's a Target 2 miles away that's selling it for $19.99.
That's different.
Yeah. Well,
that's the distinction that I make between what I'd like to see and what I don't like to see. You know,
I think the point that the booper of noses was making is if you go on a Facebook group when one of these hot products come out, Bowman Mega or whatever, you'll see a guy on his kitchen table that has literally a mountain of these, 30 of them. All right, everybody, I got them for $45 each, or 2 for $40, or 3 for $37 plus shipping.
Or
that guy's going around to every Target, scooping them up, and he's being an asshat.
Well, then I'm the asshat because the Mega Bowman boxes, I ended up with like 30 of them.
Yeah, but then you have the other guy like Dub was talking about that's like saying, hey, look, I've got some at mine. You see that every once in a while on Facebook too. Somebody will take a screenshot of their Target saying, hey, look what's in stock here. If anybody wants any, I'll be here for an hour. Let me know. You'll get it at my cost plus shipping. So basically, again, we go back to that $33 price point. I'm paying $20, but I'm also paying, taxes and then shipping and everything. By the time I get done, I'm $33 invested. You want to roll me $33? I'll be more than happy to buy you as many of these as you want. So it's two different lines of thought.
That's the distinction on that side of things. If you're, if there's a guy out there willing to buy it, Tim, then I have no issue with that.
Yeah, no, sell it.
But I'm not. The way I answered it first, I'm not the guy who's going to buy it.
No, and I'm not either. If I can't find it at the local store, you know what, and I want something out of those boxes that bad, I'll go buy it directly online. If I'm looking for an XYZ, quarterback, then I'm going to buy that card directly. And if it costs me $15 to buy the one card, well, then that's what it is, because I didn't spend $30 to hope to get it in a box or go to every Target in town to find that box. And, it's just who it is.
The same with hobby products though. 2018 Contenders football last year. I bought a couple of boxes of those when that first came out at pretty good prices, and then 2 months later, they're $350, $400 a box.
Yep.
If I learned anything from our friend Ben, it's you don't buy when the price is at its peak.
Can we write this down that somebody actually admitted to learning something from me? And of all people, it was a guy that's smarter than me. Look at that.
Well, and so that's me. It's sure, there's some products that are just going to keep going up. I mean, you're not going to find 2011 Topps Update cheap right now. But I'm not going to buy a product that just came out that I can potentially find at a Target or Walmart for double the price.
The one thing we can learn from all of this is that those back pages, and I've never seen the picture, and I've just heard rumors of the saved wax this man has.
Oh my God, yes.
Is ridiculous. And I have a small saved, I have 6 wax boxes unopened for my son that I have picked up of Topps base cards, of hobby boxes of 18 and 19, all 3 series, tucked away. But that's really it, because I have a problem with opening wax. I have a bunch of 87 Topps, but I don't open
I'll shoot him a message and see if he, because he does and I'll post a link to his channel in chat here, but he posted a video practically every day discussing either a topic or a mail day or something he saw in the hobby or something personal even. But I think a tour of his wax shelving would be amazing.
So this brings up our buddy Ben Aguirre, the best been on Twitter at Cardboard Icons, tweeted out this question. I think he was kind of asking in the ether, are we in to buy all the boxes era of collecting? And he meant by boxes the blasters and the mega boxes. And it kind of ties into this where it's like when we go to Target or Walmart, are we supposed just to buy every mega box that we see or every hot blaster? Are we in that era right now?
It sure feels like it, honestly. I mean, it feels like every product that comes out right now, especially I know this has been a longer trend than this, but I mean, just look at the last month. You've got Topps Chrome update, you've got Topps update, you've got Prizm draft picks and whatever. You've got Prizm football hit, you've got holiday boxes hit, and I'm seeing every one of those boxes show up in pictures on my Twitter timeline that we were just talking about, a cart full that says, hey, I just found them at my Target. It feels like every retail product that's coming out right now.
It's scary to me because retail's good because it allows people that might not have a shop near them to get access to product, right? The pack out on these things though, because I bought 2 update Chrome boxes because there's only 2 I've seen. And I bought them this week on Monday and I opened them. Now, I pulled an auto. It was like 1 in every 40 packs, so I was lucky. And so I was happy. There were some decent rookie cards and stuff in there. What I noticed was the packs were almost identical. If not, there was like 1 card off. And so out of my 2 boxes, I had like almost 4 complete duplicate packs, 5 duplicate packs. Luckily, it was ones that had Vlad Guerrero and Luis Ariz for the Twins and a Pete Alonso and those kind of ones. So I was like, okay, well, hey, I beat out. What happens to the one that gets the all vet pack where it's,
Well, it really is FOMO. And our friend Ben, I think, uses that word quite a bit too, or that, the acronym, fear of missing out. It's like, oh, well, if Dub just cleared out his target, I better clear out my target. I don't really want these. But what if he knows something I don't know? Hell, for all I know, he's buying them because he's trying to put together a set. But if he tweets a picture of, look what I just bought, and that's all he says, and I go to Target later and I see the same product, there are a lot of people in this hobby, and I'm not going to say collectors, because if you're doing that, you're not really collecting, you're speculating. Now I just dropped a $100 bill on 5 blasters because somebody else I saw did. And I don't want to miss out on the next whatever card it is that might be in that product. And that's what people are doing. And so, yeah, we have to buy them all because the next guy didn't. It's like, if you didn't want it yesterday, you don't want it today. Just cut it out.
And if you're looking to, if you're one of those guys that collects, like us, I would think we're all very similar. I mean, we're player collectors or university collectors, right? We have a specific stuff that really wets our whistle when collecting. But if you're one of those guys that's like, hey, if I can buy a box and sit on it for a little while, right, and then turn around in a few years and sell that because I'm not enticed to open it, and I can buy more of my stuff. The things that people are missing out on isn't the Topps Chrome update. It's not those holiday boxes. What it is that this year, Series 2 blasters, I haven't seen anywhere for months, and I ran across 2 the other day, so I bought them and I've tucked them away. Just based on the handful of rookie cards that are in there. Update retail boxes, the same thing because it's blaster boxes. Because what's going to happen is, if you look back, 2018 Topps update boxes, a hobby box is like $250, $300 right now for a hobby box. You go back, to 2011. How much is a 2000 Topps 11 blaster selling for right now? It's ungodly. And it's just because Mike Trout could possibly be in there. But you go back and look, that hunt for that rookie card in 6-7 years, if that guy takes off, it's in that 1 year, that one set, that $20 could end up being, worth that $40 because you sat and you held it. And if not, and you open the packs and you get to have fun with it, then. But that's the stuff that not everybody's scooping into their carts like Chrome and Prizm and Holiday and Mega.
Let's flip the script for a second. What if there's nothing in there? That $20 in 2019 is not going to be the same. It doesn't have the same spending power from an economic standpoint that $20 is going to have in 2029, right? Let's say it doubles in value. Now that blaster's at $40 that you could sell on the secondary market, but that $20 is now worth $27 when you adjust for inflation. But you also have to consider, what does it cost you to store it? Oh, well, nothing, because it was just on a shelf. Well, you still have to consider that there has to be an associated value to store it.
No,
and
but
you have to.
But I'm saying in general, we all have to store our cards somewhere, right?
But the cards that you collect, sure, not cards that you're speculating that I'm going to put this blaster away. The thing is, people don't consider the other variables at play when they say, I'm going to buy this and stick it away for a rainy day on the off chance. I would rather have that $20 work for me now than stick it on a shelf in hopes that someday I might be able to double or triple my value.
But see, that $20 is out of your. I believe we all probably have an idea of what we could spend each month or year on cards, and you didn't buy a, let's see, a Brett Anderson A's relic.
Yeah, but the thing is we're talking about Mr. Joe Homemaker that has a different mentality that's being
collectors like collectors, guys that are team collectors. I said this team collectors.
But see that's where it falls off the rails, because not only do I have the economics background, I'm a collector. I'm not spending that $20 because for me personally, that Brett Anderson A's relic is way more valuable than speculating on a box of Series 2 that might double, triple, quadruple in appreciation value. Yeah, I mean, everything I do in my professional life and my education speaks to the fact that I should be doing exactly what you're stating. And the reason I don't is because this is a hobby to me. I do it for fun. It's for leisure. It's not to make money. It's to collect and have fun. Otherwise, it becomes an investment medium.
Yeah, but it's also fun to collect and then maybe take $20 that you're going to spend on packs.
It's not. I would rather spend on what I want.
Hold on, real quick. You see, so if you like watching the A's and you think that's fun, but I feel I much rather have my eyes pulled out because they have ugly uniforms.
Okay.
And their manager's a dum-dum.
But you like the Royals.
Yeah, that's
Okay. So for me, it's the A's. For you, it's the Royals. For Joey, it's Georgia. It doesn't matter what avenue you choose.
But you can't tell me that it's not fun to spend $20 on a blaster and let it sit in a box. It's
not. It's not, because I would rather that $20 work for my PC. I'd rather buy anything. I've got 9,000 cards on my checklist of things I need to collect someday. Why the hell would I spend $20 to stick it on a shelf? I'd be better off going to the ATM machine right now, pulling $20 out. In fact, adjusting for inflation, I'd rather go. I bank with Golden One. Let me go to Wells Fargo and pay a $3 fee. Now it's $23. Now I've covered my future inflation costs. I'll stick that $20 bill on a fucking shelf. Pardon my language. I'll stick it on the shelf and I'll watch it sit there and hope that, man, the U.S. dollar appreciates in value over the next 10 years, and that $20 becomes $30 when I go to spend it in 10 years. Come on. Get out of here with that nonsense.
Your Brett Anderson that you bought is dead money because he ends up being like.
It doesn't matter. I'm not buying it because I want it to appreciate in value. I'm buying it because I got to watch Brett Anderson play every fifth day. I got to enjoy parts of his career. When I go back and look at my 2019 A's cards, I can go, you know what?
You have to go back.
Brett Anderson had a hell of. If we're not going back to appreciate. If we're not going back to appreciate guys like Brett Anderson, why the hell are we collecting to begin with? Why are we collecting at all? Why are you collecting?
Joey,
I have in my
Dub raised his hand, so he gets to go now.
I have it in my closet, and this is going. I'm falling on the side of Tim. I have this Rubbermaid tub full of just unopened wax. There's some retail stuff in there. There's some hobby stuff in there. I mean, there's nothing really valuable in there, but I use my hobby money the way I want to use it. it may turn into dust. I don't care. If I enjoy what I'm doing, and I mean, I've got right here. I mean, I've got an unopened box of 94 Select Baseball. I mean, there's nothing in there, but I enjoy
Wait a minute.
opening packs of cards.
Wait a minute. I need to check my.
In there pretty cool.
Maybe I need some of that, and then maybe you open it and give me the A's cards. Maybe
When
there
I
is stuff
open
in there.
Feel free to send me your needs, and I'll help fill them. But you know, I don't make a habit of buying retail blasters and stick them aside, but I do see some value in doing that with Update right now. Update has been through the roof the last few years. As a matter of fact, shameless plug, Nick Diente, just wrote an article in Forbes where he asked me a few questions about 19 Update, and there's not a lot of sets you can say that about, but Update is one that I wish I had some 18 boxes sitting here that I could open, look for the Acuna, whatever. And maybe that's because Acuna plays for the Braves. I don't know. But, I get the economics argument of it, but what I do with my hobby money is not what I do with my money that I send to my 401k or to my investment banker.
The money not on cards is I know it's going to be to something I collect that's going to sit on a shelf in a box for years and years and years. I enjoy it because I know I have it and I can go and look at it. The other part is I can take some of that and go have some crazy fun with it and buy something wild and enjoy it at the same time. Or like, I'm not saying that you do this with every product, and I don't have, like I said, I don't have tons of unopened wax here, but it's one of those things for people that are looking or that do that. There we go. That's a great set. 90 score.
It's not 91 Fleer, but it can be second best.
I got 90 Fleer basketball unopened.
It's not yellow enough.
Now, at the sake of contradicting everything I just said, if you are a speculator, if that's your thing, go to your local Target, clear the shelves, But as Tim was saying, there are certain products where you're going to do that with. I think Joey just made that same point. Update good, Heritage maybe not as good. Heritage probably is not a
Heritage
speculative product.
Prestige to put those in the closet.
What's up?
Yeah.
I'm not buying boxes of Prestige to put them in the closet. I mean, there's just certain things that
there are certain things
have
you
a track record over the last few years of being popular.
Prizm basketball, Prizm football, Topps Update baseball, and what would you say, Steph? Upper Deck Series 1 and 2.
Probably 2. Yeah.
Probably 2. Well, one this year because
they pushed it back. Yes.
Right. So those are base products that we just talked about. Those are all base sets or cards out there. It's not super high end. That's stuff that if you're looking to do so. That I'm telling you, we've talked about this before. The era of the base rookie card is coming back. Whether it's the base rookie card or a parallel version of that, that's what what collectors are going to as these autographs and RPAs become so expensive and/or questioned their authenticity. You can't fake. I mean, it's really hard now to fake a base card. There's bad copies out there, and you can pick them out. But that's where I believe this hobby is going to come back, and it's going to have a resurgence in those base rookie cards. But
even at work, to your point, Tim, I saw it today. 2015, 2016 PSA 10s from the Young Guns line. Amazing looking cards. 2 Connor McDavids and a Pavelski from a few years prior. All PSA 10s. Amazing looking cards, but they're not the signed versions. They weren't the relic versions. They weren't the low number. They were just the plain Young Guns.
Yeah.
Think about what the sets that Tim just brought up: Prizm, football, basketball, Topps Update, and Upper Deck Series 1 and 2. What do all of those sets have in common? You've got the silver unsigned in Prizm that are hot. You've got the Update rookies that are hot, and then you got the Young Guns that are hot. None of those are autographed cards.
No.
And those are from a less than a $2,000. I mean, if you're talking about flawless and all, but in your normal product runs, those are the most popular products on the market.
I've sold probably 90% of my, or sold or traded away 90% of my autographs and relic cards. that were not Asia Giants. I mean, there are maybe even more. I mean, there's just a very small handful of those that I have because I don't get the excitement out of that. I like because when I was a kid, that's what I collected. I hunted down 87 McGuire's and 87 Bo Jacksons like crazy when I first started collecting. And then it was 88 was all about, you wanted to go and get a Mark Grace or Greg Jeffries or whoever it was, the hot guy at the moment. Looking back and not being able to afford a Tony Gwynn or a Cal Ripken rookie card, I've gone back now and taken the money I've sold those autographs for it and bought those cards because I enjoy those so much more and I appreciate them so much more. So, yeah. And Tim says, Tim, tell Ben how cool the unopened wax was at the National. In being at like Baseball Card Exchange and you seeing a box of 75 Topps mini, just like it was a case of it. That was insane to see.
Or like the 6 or 8 packs of 52 Topps.
Oh yeah, it was just to see that, it was pretty cool. I want to move on because we have a lot to get to. But I ran a poll today. I only ran it for 6 hours because I wanted to talk about it on the show.
He ran a poll.
Yes, I'm going through and some of my old Topps football sets, and I'm collating them and putting on binders. And I said, do you guys still collect Topps football cards since Topps lost its license in 2015? We've had this conversation with a handful of collectors over the past year or so about football. Football seems to be a very diverse sport to collect professionally. I was telling the guys before the show, I'm going through some of my old rookie card boxes. And before we did the show, eyeballing it, I took out 150 rookie cards of guys I'd set back in 2012, 13, 14 that I had in top loaders, and I pulled them all out and to put in my quarter boxes for the next show that's coming up because they're gone. There was in 2012 Topps football, they had the hanger boxes. They all had a rookie relic jersey card in there.
Yep.
It was like it was a 25 plus 30 player plus set. I went through there. This is 9 years ago. 7 years ago. From that 7 years in that class, I think 6 of those guys that are in that set still play in NFL today. And a couple of them were very fringe being on a roster, type guys. It's crazy to me the turnover in this. And so there was 110 people that voted. The choices were yes, no, IPC a player, other. Other got 9%, PC a player got 9%, yes had 30, and 52% of people said no, they don't collect top football anymore since Topps lost its license. D. Reynolds, 5294. Dale came out and said, if you're not following him, good follow there. Topps losing its license will cause me to stop collecting sports cards. Again, Mike Summer, our buddy, he said other. I've not bought any football sealed wax, but I've added a few random cards to my PC that came in large collections. And that Cardboard Jones, that's a great name, by the way. He moved to Donners for his team set and will pick up singles from other stuff and players who aren't included in said team set. So he was only collecting the Donners set and then random others.
And I kind of like this response. Grabbed a pack of Phoenix. His last one was at the LCS. Good hits. Don't really care who makes the cards. I just like if I like them.
Yeah, and that's fine too. I feel like the way the Panini does it and the way they pack out some of the product is not my favorite. Where if in a 12-box case, one box has a Kyler Murray autograph, so say he's the one pick this year, right? You can put any number 1 overall pick in that. Once that Kyler's pulled in that 12-box case, that case is dead. I mean, there's not going to be another Kyler Murray autograph card like that in the box. In the case.
And ideally, there's some sort of middle ground between that and what Topps has had an issue with in the past, where one box will have 8, but the rest won't.
Yeah. And I just want to know your thoughts. I know Ben doesn't collect football, but when he got back into collecting, he was all about football. But does Topps not being there in football cause you to collect football less, or?
No, I like football and I like football cards. To me,
what are your favorite brand or set releases that come out every year? You talked about the Leaf All-American one.
Right, I like Leaf All-American, and I like that because it's not really you don't run into a logo issue with that. They own the rights to the All-American Bowl cards, and that's what That's what they have. And then they have the collegiate license. Panini has the collegiate license. So I like Panini college cards because, you know, I collect the Georgia Bulldogs in their jerseys. But for me, you know, I mean, I do wish Topps was there because there's some products that Topps had that I liked. I liked Upper Deck. I think 2014 or 15. I don't know, their last year, but you know, but I don't not buy them because Panini's the only one making them. Just like I don't not buy baseball because Topps is the only one making them. I'm not a mark for any of the companies. I like Certified. I like Phoenix. I like Prizm. Obviously, I like Contenders.
Your favorite's obviously
I like
Chronicles.
Optic. I do not like Chronicles that much.
I don't think a lot of people enjoy Chronicles.
I do like Optic, which is but see, you get into this thing where people, you know, because there are only Topps guys, that's your Topps Chrome. Optic is your Topps Chrome, and they just won't collect it because it's not Topps Chrome. That doesn't bother me. I collect the players.
Yeah.
I don't collect to feed Topps or Panini. You know what I'm saying?
So, can I ask Joey a question real quick?
I think it's allowed.
So when I got back into card collecting anyway, around 2010, you know, I was trying to get the wife excited, something we could do together. She preferred football over baseball. That her attention waned, and by 2012, I was pretty much starting to dive, you know, headfirst into my A's PC, and that was that. But you know, when we asked this question of you, Joey, because you're such a big college football guy, how much of your football collecting is influenced by the fact it's just an extension of you collecting or being passionate about college?
It's probably fueled a lot, but I have always been a football guy. I mean, my grandfather, when we watched football on Sundays, you know, I've always been a football guy. And so for me, I collected football cards, you know, in 87, 86, you know, I've always had probably a fair 50-50 share of during the year buying football and baseball cards. Obviously the college part of it helps now, but last year's rookie class, I mean, I liked Lamar Jackson. I liked, you know, Baker. I mean, that was 2018 rookie class was just unreal. Josh Allen. So just like the any other product, for me, rookies drive it. And what you're seeing in 2019 is there's not a really deep rookie class. I mean, after Kyler, Tim's right. The case is probably shot because you're not looking for that. I mean, everybody's looking for Baker last year, but you could also find Lamar Jackson. You could also find Josh Allen. You know, this list of guys that you could look for because the rookie class was so deep. So, you know, for me, obviously I like to pull Georgia guys, but for me, I watch football every Sunday. I played fantasy football for 15 years. I'm a football fan, and so that's part of it for me.
Real quick, notice that he only named quarterbacks. And it kind of
I
goes to an ongoing topic.
Running backs were Chubb and Michelle, and they're Georgia guys. So
we understand it, but running backs, the shelf life or their collectability is very small. Receivers is smaller. Tight ends is very, very, very small. Defensive players is almost nil. And you know that, I mean, it's really if the quarterback class is bad, then look back to 2013 when it was Geno Smith and EJ Manuel, right?
Well,
what product do I have to open to get long snapper autos?
So is Dub not the perfect
Leaf All-American?
Dub he's the perfect example of that ongoing discussion of he's going to want to go get Nick Chubb autos or other Nick Chubb related, you know, whether they be relics or whatever.
He's trying to gather all the Chubbs he can.
Exactly.
Look, there's a lot of jokes here.
So when he goes to get his Chubbs, wait 2 or 3 years because he's still going to be a representative of Georgia, but odds are he's going to be considerably cheaper on the secondary market in 2 or 3 years once he's in year 4 of his career, as opposed to being a rookie.
But he wants them now, Ben.
But understand, and the thing is, to Ben's point, look at it. Le'Veon Bell has been one of the top running backs in the NFL. Zeke Elliott the same over the last handful of years. And there you can go, and even Alvin Kamara. You can go out and pick these guys up for pennies on the dollar compared to any of their quarterback counterparts.
Sure. Well, yeah, compared to what they were year one. Year one, okay, they're everybody needed Saquon last year, right? Barkley was a hot name through and through the products. Well, this year now he's injured, and he's had kind of a bad couple of weeks. And I don't know off the top of my head what his market is, but going based off of what our friend Doug said over at Mojo, buy these guys year 2, year 3, year 4, because as Dub just said everybody wants Baker in this hot quarterback class with Allen and Rosen, and Jackson. Okay, well, you're not naming running backs. You're not naming receivers. Anybody that's not a quarterback, if you really want that player, if he's your guy because he was part of your college team, wait a couple of years. Put him on your want list, because you're going to be able to buy so much more of that player. You're going to be able to buy 3 or 4 autos for the price of one by waiting 2 seasons.
It works for quarterbacks too, though.
It can. It can.
RG3.
It can.
I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks that come out hot and they just fizzle in the NFL. I mean, Brock Osweiler comes to mind. I mean, the dude's stuff was selling for $50-$60, and he, he's an insurance agent now.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at even guys like Daniel Jones, who was hot that first week because he had such a great game against Tampa, and then he's kind of dropped back a little bit.
Look at Baker Mayfield. I mean, he's had not a great season. His prices have come down a little bit, but enough. Hey, if you want to think that he really can make a go of it, and even though it's during the season and people are running scared, hey, maybe this is the time to go up and get a couple. But I just thought it's interesting he brought up all quarterbacks. We were going to talk about this last week, but we didn't have time. So our buddy at Booby Nane, Robbie, put out Hall of Famers and Flagship. And this is going to tie into our next topic. Don't even get me started about how much I wish there was subset in Series 2 or 3, which is update, for each year's Hall of Fame class. Yeah, like what the hell? Why isn't there, a handful of cards set aside for the Hall of Famers that go in every year, right? You're not telling me.
If I'm not mistaken, it's 2011 or 2012, where the Burt Blyleven class, where the Series 2 cards had legend parallels of the Hall of Fame inductees. And that was a great touch. I liked it. I don't necessarily agree that they were short printed.
They don't need to be, and that's the thing. Like, really, we can't have them.
There's a better way to celebrate your player or, just someone's career by having them available to everybody.
There's room for it, too, because there's a Pete Alonso rookie. There's a Pete Alonso rookie debut. There's a Pete Alonso All-Star game card. There's a Pete Alonso home run card. I mean,
Pete Alonso's first poop in a Major League Stadium card.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that was a tops now.
For all of the Vlad Guerrero rookie cards this year, the Twins, Luis Arias, finished higher in the Rookie of the Year balloting.
Well, that makes them even more collectible.
Cut those in half and issue Hall of Fame cards. Make it an insert set. Hell.
Well, there are some inserts of Hall of Famers now. I guess the 150 or the All Century or something.
Some of those are.
But
it should be an every year thing, not just let's celebrate this one Hall of Famer.
Speculators want rookie cards, and that's what this hobby is geared towards, unfortunately, because there's a big market for it that Topps is missing. But the bottom line is they sell all their products regardless, so why should they pivot?
Yeah, that might be my question at next Topps Q&A. I'm not going to burn my question on asking about Santa.
Yes. So it ties into the modern era ballot for the Hall of Fame. Now, I just want yes or no answers. When I say the name, I don't want a dissertation because we're running long here and there's a few names on here I'm going to hit. So, yes or no, when you hear this name, is this person a Hall of Famer? Dwight Evans.
No.
Yeah.
Why don't we go around in an order so that we know who's going to answer if you want to go quickly?
Yeah.
So Doug can go first.
We'll go Dub, Ben, and then Steph.
Sure.
Dwight Evans. No. Ben.
No.
Steph.
Nope.
Nope. Steve Garvey. Dub. See, when you're thinking about it.
No.
See, okay, Ben.
No.
Steph.
No.
Tommy John.
Yes. I would
Yes.
go with Tommy John.
Yes.
Steph.
Not so much as a player, but yes.
The surgery.
Yeah.
He has,
surgery
he has
gets
a
in all of
procedure named after him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don Mattingly. Well, then, the doctor needs to be in there too. But Don Mattingly.
I would say on the surface, yes, for Mattingly.
Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah, I feel
Another
like I'm
year or
with Dub
two?
on this.
He was great. He was great. He wasn't good.
Marvin Miller from the Players Association.
Great. He wasn't good.
I can explain if we
Don't
have
have
time.
it. We don't have time tonight. We still have a couple things that Dub brought up that I want to talk about. So Marvin Miller from the Players Association.
Under the builders or whatever founders.
Honestly, don't know enough about it, Marvin Miller, to answer.
Can I have 20 seconds? I'll take Dub's time.
Yeah.
As a fan, absolutely. He deserves it because of what he did. But if there's an article on The Athletic right now, and if you go read the article, he does not want to be in the Hall of Fame. I know he passed away a couple of years ago, but he said, do not ever put me in the Hall of Fame. So let's respect his wishes.
Okay.
I ran long.
Yeah. Thurman Munson, we talked about him in Topps Living. Dub.
I would probably say yes on this ballot. Yeah.
I think he's in.
No.
Steph.
With everything that goes along with it, yes.
Yeah, he's in. Dale Murphy.
He should be in already.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Don't even get me started on Fred McGriff.
I would have to say no.
The best no possible.
He's a yes. He was the best player of his decade in the National League.
He was great, but he was not good.
Dave Parker, the Cobra.
I say yes on the Cobra.
Yes.
I can make arguments, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing me. Ted Simmons.
No.
Yes.
Needs the Hall needs better catching classifications.
Thurman.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Munson just he was 32 when he died.
But Kirby Puckett got in.
Yeah.
Well, Kirby Puckett's not a Hall of Famer.
Ted Simmons is yes.
Same functional.
Sour Lou Whitaker.
Is anyone going to say no?
I'm going on Lou.
I'm going to say no.
Yeah. Yes.
So
he was two and a half times the player that Harold Baines was.
If
Harold Baines shouldn't be in anyway.
Well,
let's not get into that all. Okay. Collector fatigue. So Dub wanted to talk about. I asked him and said, "Hey, what's a couple things you want to talk about?" And we have the big one for the end. We always kind of try to save the big topic. I know we're rolling along tonight, but I don't care. Dub's here. But when you have an All-Star or Hall of Famer in the building, like you do, Dub, you go long. You don't care.
I
so
mean,
collecting fatigue.
He's kind of the Harold Baines of the show.
I'm the Dale Murphy. I'm the best note.
He's really good and consistent, but he's just kind of.
Well, you are the Kevin Lynch of the show, so. So Dub said all of the products that are getting he doesn't. You said you didn't have really collector fatigue, but or you kind of have it. You're not slowing your collecting down, but you feel that fatigue because of all the products that are thrown at us. That with the fact that we're having 5-6 releases a week, the saturation isn't the same as it was in the junk wax era. But you said there's a billion 90 Donruss, and now it's a billion cards, but under a veil of different products. I agree with you there. And then you also talked about all of the online stuff that we're getting shoved down our throat, right? You have all these on-demand and live and update and living and yada, yada, online exclusive sets. So let's talk a little bit about that and the collective fatigue that you're feeling.
For me, hang on one second. Sorry.
No worries.
For me, it's just I don't know if it's the season of life that I'm in. I have a 12-year-old and a 5-year-old, and we're constantly, we're in ballet, we're doing horse lessons, we're doing FFA, you know. But I mean, the amount of products that are hitting. I mean, you guys do it every week when you list the products that are released. I mean, you mentioned there's 3 flawless products coming out in a 2 to 3 week span. I mean, take the things that we've already talked about, the retail, you know, rush. Everybody wants Topps Chrome update, and then the holiday comes out. Oh, I got to find that, and then, you know, Hoops comes out. Oh, I got to get Hoops because Zion's out there. I mean, it is just one after another, just constantly bang, 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 and I don't know that the quality. I mean, it's certainly quantity or quality, in my opinion. There's a few sets we can do without, but I just can't keep up. I mean, I cannot keep
all
up.
of them.
I cannot keep up with the releases. I'm a guy who likes to build a set or two. You know, I know that set building is a thing of the past for a lot of people, and I'm not really a flagship guy. I haven't liked the design over the last few years. Like I mentioned before, I'm a border guy, but I like, you know, heritage. I like, you know, Prizm for football to build that, you know, but it's just, I mean, it's 40. I know that, and this is not a new thing, but it's really hit me, I guess, recently with the mad rush of things that, and maybe it's Twitter, maybe it's, you know, every time you turn around, somebody's popping stuff up that they just bought, and you're like, that's come out, and it's like.
And I can only imagine it's that much worse in that, you know, unlike me or Ben, for the most part, you don't just collect one sport or a sport and a half.
Right.
You collect Prizm, you collect football, you collect baseball.
Football and baseball heavily, but I do collect some basketball too. I mean, but yeah, I mean, with football and baseball, this time of year especially, you know, they're still pumping out a few baseball products, but they're really hitting the football products heavy. Basketball's coming out. It's just having to pick and choose what you can and can't pick up. You really have to kind of focus in on what exactly you want, and that changes from year to year for me because of designs and checklists. It changes from year to year.
Well, we're talking the checklist might influence your purchasing.
Perhaps.
We were talking before the show, and as I'm trying to clean up my card room, and as you can see, the mountain of boxes behind me is lowering, which is great. My wife's happy, but I'm going through, and it's like I was talking to these guys. It's like, you know, I'm a set builder, and I build flagship every year because I like doing it. Something I did as a kid. It's something I've gotten back into, and it's fun for me. And, you know, sometimes I'm not happy with the design, but sometimes the things are just a habit. And, you know, there's so much product that's released every year. And, you know, I like collecting like the Giants and the Royals, and I don't run down every set like Ben does. If I come across it, yeah, awesome. Or if I'm making trades with somebody, bring them on, you know. I'll you know, I'm trying to do that. But I'm not actively every, you know, release trying to chase those down. I've come down to the fact that I'm collecting mostly baseball, right? I'm collecting flagship, and I'm doing heritage sets. But I'm usually buying the heritage sets just complete, and then working on the short prints on the side. I've completely really quit collecting basketball or football just because collecting football wasn't as in the last, even when I was collecting it heavily, wasn't really fun. And so I've kind of said, hey, I'm only going to collect the Topps flagship sets from 80 through 2015. And then, you know, I pick up rookies sparingly. Like I picked up a couple of Lamar Jackson rookie cards last year because I drafted him on my Dynasty team because I liked Lamar Jackson. And I always buy cards of guys I draft on my Dynasty team. You know, it's a team we had for a long time, and I think they're going to be good young rookies. I have Nick Chubb on that team. But in basketball, I haven't really collected because I got away from collecting when I came back. I was excited, but lately I've had some fun collecting Prizm basketball rookie cards. That's been fun for me, just picking up singles here and there, and opening a handful of retail packs. But yeah, there's so much, and it's like that's released. I don't understand how people that are buying every week, like going out and buying the newest products. I see at the LCS, the guys are always opening the newest stuff, and it's like, what do you do with all of this stuff? And they're like, most of it sits in a box, and I have no idea what I have, or they just dump everything that they don't want there, and they walk away with 2 or 3 cards, but they spent $3,000.
Reminds me of that George Carlin skit about stuff.
Yes.
Where you start off with a certain amount of stuff, and then you need a place to put your stuff. So you buy a place to put your stuff, and then you need more room to put your stuff. So you buy a storage unit, in which case that fills up. And then you need more place to put your stuff, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, take just your average collector on a budget, and this it takes $40 to a stocked target. You know, they've got to decide on that $40. Are they buying blasters of Prizm football? And if they collect everything, Prizm football, hoops basketball, Prizm draft picks basketball, Topps Chrome update, Topps Chrome, Top Series 2. I mean, Topps update 9 Chrome. I mean,
Upper Deck Series 1.
Well, yeah, I mean, what do you buy? And I know that that's probably more a me problem than a hobby problem, but because I collect a lot of stuff.
But you're an average. I would say you look at we're all variations of the same collector.
Sure.
All 4 of us are very, and I feel like most of the people that we've had on this show, except for maybe Jimmy, he's all about higher end collector than the rest of us. But we're all that mid-tier collector where there's certain things we like to collect, but we're smart with how we collect it and what we're spending. We're not just running down and just going, okay, like, hey, I'm going to take the credit card, and okay, I'm just going to go and max that thing out and buy a bunch of blasters. And we kind of planned out what we're looking for, and we understand what that return is and what you need to do. And it to me, there's days where I've had too much card stuff, and like I just can't think or deal with it.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's all who I am, and it's not. And all the stuff that comes out. And to me, it's like when we talk about these sets, I feel like, we talk about some of the releases. I feel like I could just change. All I'd have to do is change the name.
Yeah.
Well, and to your point, I agree 100%, Tim. Especially working in the industry, the amount of cards that I see on a daily basis, not even of my own collection, let alone, Rich or someone else chiming in and saying, hey, did you know, by the way, this card from 1959 now has a new variation that people have noticed because, and I'm about to screen share here. So, for example, 1959 Topps Vito Valentinetti, which, by the way, great name. But they noticed that there's a version that doesn't have the semicolon on it. Next to home semicolon Bronx, New York. Home blank space Bronx, New York. Well, now I need another. Which is what I was going to say was that I think what helps with that is having a clear defined purpose and a focus, which is another thing that our buddy those back pages says is that having a clear focus on what you want to collect, adding things is fine. Buying something that's outside of your focus is fine, but having that clear focus of what you want to aim for and what your goal for the year is and hitting it or close or don't is can definitely help in that.
Well, and the thing is when you get back into the hobby like I did, and I know I feel like probably Ben felt this way, is that you kind of had to find what your defined focus was going to be. And it took 2 or 3 years to kind of get there.
Sure.
And then it's like, okay, this is what it's going to be. And I even read I feel like every month or so I fine tune it. And like I was telling the guys before the show, I've decided everything that I'm going to keep are going to be the rookie cards. The first Bowman cards, the rookie cards, the first prospect card of a guy, whatever sport it happens to be. And then like the second or third year cards, if I do a show or I'm going to do trades, those are all up for grabs because it's like, do I really need Garrett Cole's 6th year card? I already have it in my flagship set, but do I really need that one just because he's an all-star? It's like, no, like that.
Well, after this week's revelations, no, you probably don't.
Yeah, but this card can go away and I'll be fine with it.
Sure.
and puts a quarter in my pocket or whatever to go and to take that and buy a Royals card that I want or whatever it happens to be. But it's
check the last comment in the chat.
Well, that even when you have a focus, now when you start throwing in all this online stuff, I'm in a Braves group on Facebook. I don't do a lot of Facebook, but I'm in a Braves group. But there's a Topps Now card out today. There's a Topps Living set coming out next week. There's a Panini Instant of a Falcon player. There's something coming out in a Montgomery set. There's something coming out in Topps Total, and you're like, even if you're like a team guy, it's like, how do I? I mean, I know Ben and you, maybe Tim, are more team guys, A's and Royals, but I mean, you literally can't have all of it.
No, you can't. And
part of the collection is you like to complete it.
Yeah, so Ben's probably got one of the most complete team focused sets I've heard of.
Mike Gallego.
Yeah, I mean, just like about the way he goes about it, though, right? I mean, he has this list and he works it. But Ben, really quick, how do you feel about this with all these on-demand sets and all these those unannounced releases that come out and trying to run down? Did you run down a 582 Montgomery team set?
Yeah, I did on last week's show. I bought it while we were on air. So take Dub's point about being at a fully stocked Target, and then just think, I'm just going to collect one team, because that's how I look at it, right? I'm standing at Target and I have high tech that just came out, but I have triple threads that just came out before that. And then I have so and so, on and on. But the problem is now you have Living and you have Topps Now and you have Throwback Thursday and you have all of these on-demand sets. And then the other problem as a team collector is so we're going to take Dub's point, and it's not Upper Deck Series 1 and Topps Chrome and Prizm and so on and so forth. I'm looking at triple threads and there's 4 base cards of the A's. Do I get just the base cards, the 4 of them, and move on? Because I'd really like the green parallels. But now there's 4 green parallels I have to chase, and then 4 amber parallels, and 4 citrine and onyx, and so on and so forth, because now I got high tech. And I haven't looked at the checklist yet, so I have no idea how many A's cards there are. How many parallels do you get? Because once you get one, don't you have to get the other 3 or 4 as well?
There's
because
a
as a team
jersey, there's a yellow Walgreen, there's one throwing a snowball.
As a team collector, that's how you start to think. It's like with the Panini Prizm, I was just going to collect a bunch of Matt Chapmans. Well, and then lo and behold, I end up buying a lot from somebody, and I end up getting a handful of the Reds, and there was 10 guys in the base set, or 12 guys, I believe. And I had already bought 3 or 4. I'd bought Chapman, Olsen, and Davis, and the next thing I know now I've got 9 of the 12. I got to get the other 3. That was a parallel set I hadn't planned on buying.
There's 3 A's in high tech, by the way.
How many A's?
3.
So that means you need 78. That means you need 76 cards.
Is McGuire one of them?
No, Davis, Chapman, Henderson, 3 autos, Trenian, Henderson, and Bolt, and 1 insert number to 99.
Thank God.
I think you mentioned one time, Ben, it might have been on the show or it might have been on Twitter. It was some set that came out this year where McGuire was a Cardinal, and you said, "Thank God,
right.
I don't have to chase down all of his A's cards." I get what you're saying, but how backwards is it to have to think that way? You know
Amen.
what I'm saying? It's like, I like McGuire. Thank God he's not in an A's jersey, so I don't have to chase. That just speaks to how much is out there.
Or okay, so in update, you pulled the Georgia Brett short print, and you sent it to me. You said, "Hey, I'm going to mail it out to you," which was awesome and very thankful. I was just thankful that it wasn't a super short print,
right?
Because then it goes from Dub sends it to me, or I go buy it online for a couple bucks, and then it becomes like a $75 card,
right?
And do I just buy one for my Royals team set? Or do I have to buy 2 for my Royals team set and now my George Brett PC, where I'm trying to get at least one of every one of his cards? And like on my Brett PC, I've decided I'm not including autographs or relics or any of the parallels. If I get them, awesome. It's just the base version. And right now, I'm only working on his playing years because he has 5 times the amount of cards from 1990. Even if you include 94, which he didn't play, he was retired. But if you say from 95 to now, like 5 times the amount of cards he did during his 20-year playing career. And the man was an all-star for like 13 of those years.
Yeah.
Won batting titles in 3 decades. I mean, he has a lot of cards when he played. But it's 5 times since he retired.
And real quick, to Dub's point, referencing my point that I had made, I think on both the show and on Twitter. I know I made on Twitter, and it was Alan Ginter is what said it was. When you start thinking, I hope that they're not making a lot, or thank God they only made X amount of cards, or thank God they made my favorite player in the wrong team for how I collect. That way I don't have to pursue them. I think the whole purpose of this portion of the show is when you really start to think, should I even be collecting this way, or should I be collecting at all? And that's where that collector fatigue comes in, is at what point do you start drawing the line? Like, if they're going to make all this stuff, basically what they're telling me is they don't want me to collect it anymore. I have better things to do with my time.
And really quick, before we move on, we have one final topic tonight. I know we're running long, but is that it came to fruition this year with Panini Prizm and the parallels in baseball. There's 45, was it 43 or 45 Prizm parallels to the base cards?
And probably half of them aren't numbered.
Yeah. I mean,
half that in the autos, because I think there was a stupid amount of autos, and they even had certain auto parallels in Prizm that were numbered exactly the same.
And to me, right there, that's under that veil of, okay, hey, it's only a 200 card set or whatever. That tells me how much they actually make of that, where they had to make that many parallel colors.
Right.
And how many parallels of those are, like, those 45, I think 20 of them are like retail or only at a different retail products, and only 20 in the hot. And so it's like, oh, good Lord, like, really, how much is actually out there?
Run the presses.
Yeah. And how many one-of-ones do you have to have of one player in a set?
Our friend Chris Young, who collects
Right.
Ramon Laureano and has built massive rainbows of Laureano, said of Panini Immaculate that there was 43 Ramon Laureano one-of-ones. How valuable is a one-of-one if there's 43 different ones?
It's not.
That's for one product of one player.
I mean, I find it cute when you get a jersey number of a guy, but I'm not going to hunt that down. But if you pull it, that's cool.
Sure.
If you pull the 101, that's cool. But that 45 of one guy, it's just at that point.
I made
it's
the
like,
comment,
who cares?
Tim, that $90 they made $1 billion Ron Gans. They're going to make $1 billion Zion Williamsons this year.
Oh yeah.
But they're going to be in draft. They're going to be in contenders. They're going to be in hoops. They're going to be in. It's still.
We talked about that when we talked about that video a few weeks back where the guy was going to bust a case of blasters of collegiate draft picks, contenders draft picks.
Yeah.
And he said that he bought, it was a 40 case blaster, and they opened 20 of them. Him and his son stopped because they were supposed to be guaranteed an auto in every box. And half the boxes had points, and half the boxes had autos. But the fact is, they pulled a Zion base card out of at least one out of every blaster. So how many of those Zions were made if all these blasters all had a Zion card in them? Mm-hmm. Plus then they had a hobby release. So it's crazy. The last thing is, how are we going to price all this stuff? So how useful is a price guide? It was kind of a general thing here, and Doug contributes to Beckett. I mean, we've all throughout our whole lives have used the magazine Beckett as a price guide to help us when before we had the internet. We had other ways to get pricing information. Yep. But general thoughts on a new collector or a returning collector. Dub, what do you think they should buy or use a pricing guide or a magazine to be able to help them when coming back to the hobby or hopping into the hobby for the first time?
I mean, I feel like if you're buying and selling cards, if you're looking to buy a card, an individual card, you want to look at the comps. You want to look at eBay. You want to see everything that's sold for. Where I use the price guide is when, I mean, I've showed you boxes here of 90 Fleer and 94 Select. Those prices aren't changing every month. those prices are what they are, and they've been that way for 6 months, 8 months, a year, 2 years, whatever. What I typically use the Beckett for is because I still read the articles, guys.
I only read the articles.
That's why I posted last week. I
Look,
read at the magazine for the articles.
Yeah, I still look at some of the pricing from the 90s, and I'm like, I may see a card that's like, wow, I didn't know that thing had gone up, because I'm not looking at those individually on eBay.
Right.
But if you're selling a card, or if you're fixing to buy a card, then you don't go to a magazine to do that. I agree with that. You go to eBay and you look at what one sold for yesterday and what one is bid on now that is going to sell for. And that's what you use to price your items. But I still see a lot of merit in having a pricing list of all 700 cards that you can look at in a set if you're a set builder, or if you have sets on hand, or if you've got these old vintage, I say vintage now, but old boxes that you want to, open packs. I don't have to go to eBay and look up what a 1994, hoops card is selling for. I can, but I can also look at the whole set in a Beckett and see because it's outdated information. I get it, but it's also just 30 days old. I mean, so if you're not collecting something that is changing every day, like a Lamar Jackson card because he had a good game on Sunday, or a Vlad Guerrero Jr. because he made it to the finals in the home run derby yesterday, prices that are fluid and changing daily, it's not the way to go. But I still use it because I collect a lot of stuff that is not fluid anymore.
Right. Right.
And that's what I collect. And so it's easier for me if I've got a Beckett laying here, which I usually always do when I'm opening these boxes, to have that page open and look at those as I'm opening that box, as opposed to looking up every individual card on eBay. But again, if I'm going to sell a Jordan that I pull from this 90 Fleer, I'm still going to look it up on eBay because I want to see what one most recently sold for. So I draw a line between buying and selling, and what I do with cataloging cards. When I decide, I could show you the box that my camera's sitting on, but it's my Braves box. I have loose cards in the box. Then I have cards in a penny sleeve, and then I have cards in top loaders. And I put those in those things based on what they're valued at. And so, I've got 86 Topps Dale Murphys in there that the price hadn't changed in 3 years on that card. So, that's the way
$10 a piece.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way I see it. It is easier for me to use it when I'm doing cataloging than looking up card after card after card after card on eBay.
That's probably I'm going to say that's the smartest answer. The smartest answer I think I've heard on this topic. That you understand both sides of the view, but how it's relevant in today's time. I mean, you knocked us out. We were going to talk about how would an experienced collector use it. I think you're an experienced collector, and how would any of us, use outside of the articles? That you kind of covered all that. So, I mean, I love it. I pick one up occasionally because I knew somebody that one had an article in it, two, somebody had an article about them in it, or three, that they had their first cover. They took a photo of their first cover. I have all those sitting over here. Or there's a great story. Was it right when we first started doing the show? There was a great article on the best cards from the junk wax era. I think it talked about, and it's gone through, and it's like, okay, now I'm going to collect all of these cards because these are all the cards I couldn't touch as a kid. Now I can go buy, for a discounted price, and I get to enjoy them and see them. So I just want to say, I mean, that was, I understand your point there, and it's still I think it takes us back to a foundational point of the hobby of where we all kind of started from. It gives us a reference point of where things were at, and I like your point looking back on older sets and older cards. Yeah, because there's not much fluctuation unless the guy makes the Hall of Fame or goes to prison for crimes, right? So
Right. Yeah.
Well, and the only thing that I would add, because for the most part I agree exactly with Dub's assessment, is that much like the screenshot that I just shared, the pricing books, especially the standard catalogs that used to come out, are great for the descriptions. I used to pick one up every like 5 years or so because for the most part the information stays the same, but you'll get the occasional new set included as well. But I also went back and picked up one from like 20, 30 years ago when you guys first started out because it had some of the more detailed stuff that publishing cut out some of the pages here or there. So between the most current 5 years ago and 20, 30 years ago, I have a pretty good gauge of what's available, what has been available. And, it came in handy today because someone asked, well, these E125 American caramel cards, how are they distributed? Do we know anything about them? Well, I took the screenshot took a picture on my phone of the little blurb, and there you go. Nobody knows is the answer. But for research purposes, for descriptions, sometimes I'll describe what the card looks like. Comes in handy.
Yeah.
Well, I don't work for Beckett. I write for them occasionally, and so, but I'm not an employee of that company, and I really have nothing to gain or lose from taking a stand, a side, or whatever. I read Beckett in 2018 before I started writing for them. I see personal value in it, and we go back to the argument before about Tim keeping a blaster and Ben thinking that you shouldn't keep a blaster or whatever. I mean, everybody has things that they use and tools that they use and use them in the way they use them. I mean, again, I know the difference in selling a card and cataloging a set, but it's I know it's more than 140 character discussion for me. And so when I see somebody post, the Beckett price guide sucks. Well, it's not that easy. It's not that simple. If you're selling a card, today and somebody pulls out a Beckett, there might be an issue with that. But blanket statement, no, that's not accurate.
And really quick, we're going to pull back the curtain, a little surprise, but next week we're going to have Mike Summer on, and we're also going to have Bo Thompson on, and he put out a tweet that he had somebody that he made a trade with, and normally when he's making his trade for his Cubs, I've done deals with him before. We've done card for card, or just, hey, I'm going to send you all my Cubs I have, and he's like, okay, I'll send you all the Royals that I have, and I'm good with that. That's how we do our deals. He had somebody went back to him and said, hey, our dollars for what I sent you and what you sent me don't match up. And we're talking, he's like, hey, it was the 89 Jerome Waltons, that kind of stuff. And it's just like
89 of them.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I don't understand that. It's crazy. Real quick, Tim's been on the show quite a bit tonight, but he said, hey, I saw Walker Buehler's dad this week, and he has created a spreadsheet for every one of his son's cards to collect. And you would not believe how enormous it was. And he's only been in major leagues for 3 years.
Unfortunately, we can believe it, and that's the hard part. Is it wouldn't matter how big of an Excel spreadsheet that is.
Right.
We would believe it because we're collectors, and we've been there to some degree, and it's asinine. It's downright pathetic when you think about it. I do not have any envy for that man trying to do what he wants to do. Who wouldn't want to collect their kids' cards? That's awesome.
Yeah, and by the way, that kid, if you guys haven't watched him, I hate the Dodgers. I really do. I am scared to death of what this kid's going to be able to do in baseball, and then over the next 5 to 7 years of his career.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of him,
he is a kid to watch. He's going to be if he stays healthy. I mean, if any of these players stay healthy, he is going to be a very, very important player for the Dodgers.
Speaking of Walker Buehler, there's a cool video I saw on YouTube the other day. I don't know if it was on GQ's YouTube page or Wired's YouTube page, but it was Justin Turner, Walker Buehler, and Jock Peterson, and they were watching a few video clips from different baseball movies. and they were assessing as how real they are. It was really neat. So if you just kind of type in something to that effect, it's probably Wired or GQ, and it's like a 7 or 8 minute video.
We sure was a Maxim.
It might have been Maxim.
Hey,
you know how they do those.
Anyway,
so you know how they do those. A lot of those they're doing like they get like an expert now to watch legal scenes to tell you how real they are. Or they'll get somebody to break down their most famous scenes in their roles. But I thought that was kind of cool to have the 3 Dodgers on there, kind of picking apart the pitching and the batting and how real something like that would be compared to what they know. And it was kind of a fun little watch.
As you saw, Steph said he's got 1,185 cards per Beckett's.
1,985, 347 memorabilia cards, 34 quote-unquote rookies, 616 autographs, and 1,541 serial number cards. I don't know necessarily if those overlap or not, but that's their stats zone section for Walker Buehler.
And real quick, I want to bring it up. We talk about how these guys have cards forever. The guy that was Taijuan Walker was with the Mariners.
Mm-hmm.
He had prospect cards for like 5-6 years before he came up.
Yeah.
Like I believe that you need to have a first prospect card, and then you don't have another one until you debut. Like, anyway, that's just a whole other story.
I mean, Miguel Sano was featured in products from like 2009 all the way up to 2013, 14 before he made his debut.
Yeah.
You know how many cards I had to quote unquote chase?
Yeah,
I gave up at that point.
Well, as we leave, any final thoughts, Dubs, since you are our guest, and we really appreciate you staying up late with us. It's wonderful to have you on the show.
Appreciate you guys. I always appreciate having the opportunity to be on. I watch and listen when I watch when I can, but as you know, it's 11 o'clock here when it starts. So sometimes I can't make it through the whole show, but I do listen. I download it and listen and enjoy what you guys do. So I always appreciate, and it's an honor for me to be on. I do have 2 things to close with. You mentioned that Buehler has 1,900 cards. I PC a guy who wore number 5 for the Atlanta Braves. I'm not allowed to say his name. According to Trading Card Database, he has 916 cards, and he played for about 15 years.
Yeah, it was an all-star.
So that gives you an idea. He was a 30-30 guy. I mean, that gives you an idea of how many cards are being printed today. And then secondly, when we're talking about reading material, my current reading material right now, guys, is the 1989 complete book of baseball cards. This thing is awesome. I found it at a thrift shop. I remember reading it when I was a kid, but it's got it's backwards. It's got all the cards except Upper Deck, but then it's got some stats. It's got some background info.
Oh, that's cool.
Just like the cards, but it's got every player that was printed in 1989 and top.
I might have to go dig mine out of the garage.
4. It's got 2,000 cards in it.
That's awesome.
It did not include Upper Deck that year, but again, guys, appreciate it. Appreciate you giving.
So where can we let everybody know where we can find you and consume your amazing work?
My personal blog is dubmentality.com. I do weekly card shop interviews with card shop owners. They rotate weeks. One week is a U.S. shop. The next week is a Canadian shop. That's with Beckett. That is online only. You can find it on their website. And also they share it on Twitter and Facebook. And then my monthly Junk Wax article rotates. I do a football one. I do baseball. The ones that I do, I think all show up in the Sport Card Collector, the main magazine for all sports, but they will show up in the baseball and football Beckett's as well. And then if you're interested in Georgia, I write for them at dawnofthedog.com, and that's DAWG, the only way to spell dog. But you can find all of my stuff there. I'm on Twitter, Dub Mentality, and I share most of that stuff there. Again, I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to be here. And
anytime the door is wide open. Just don't let it hit you on the way in or the way out. To your first point, how many cards do you say your person that you can't mention had?
Well, according to Trading Card Database, 916.
So the person that I can't mention actually has about 300, 400 less, 587.
But that was his playing weight, though.
Played more.
Yeah, he was twice the man the other one was. So he only deserves half the cards.
That was his playing weight. Remember, we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific.
Can I throw one thing out real quick? Our friend Tony at Tony's Hobby Vault sent me a little care package this week. Had a couple cool cards, including a Class 1 black parallel of Ricky Henderson from Gold Label. So I'll be shooting him out a tweet tomorrow thanking him for that. It came earlier in the week, and I just opened it tonight. So thank you, Tony.
And I threw his link in chat earlier. One additional programming note: I won't be here next week.
Oh.
I've got friends flying in from Miami and Atlanta.
So it's appointment listening because you won't have to hear Steph.
Indeed.
Nice.
I mean, I'm only giving you guys what you want.
All right. Like I said, we're live every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe and review on all subscribe and review on all our show on all platforms. Follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. Follow Ben at Our Trading Cards. Follow Steph at Junk Wax Swins. You can always follow me at Big Shep 79. I will be a little quiet as Saturday. My daughter will be here, and I'm not going to miss a show. I'll be here next week. I might look more haggard and old and tired than I actually am right now, but we're very excited. So I will keep you all posted. But yeah, we're going to have little assistance next week with Mike and Bo hanging out. The Midwest Bureau boys are coming to hang out with us. So we'll talk all things Cubs in Illinois, right? Chicago. So make sure you share your hobby stories, great polls, and send your questions our way. And keep collecting. We'll talk to you guys all next week. See you.
Roll Tide.
See you guys then. War Eagle.